Welcome to the Going North podcast, where you will be encouraged, informed, and empowered to embrace your dreams and advance in life through authorship. I'm your host, best-selling author, certified leadership trainer, and book enthusiast Dom Brightman. Be sure to check out the goods and services from every guest, as well as some of the books from yours truly, the host. Now let the fun begin. And today on the Going North podcast, we bring you some fabulous humans from across the globe. Today is no different. My goodness, we got a superstar in the building, baby. Thanks to the wonderful DV himself, Doug Vermeeren. He has hooked me up with some fabulous folks from the How Thoughts Become Things movie. And this guest in particular, my goodness, I'm excited for this one because this marvelous lady right here brings in innovative and proprietary techniques and strategies to both corporate and private clients who want to shift out of debilitating phobias, indecisiveness, poor health, frustration, confusion, lack of clarity, stress, poor performance, fatigue, burnout, and so on. Try saying that 20 times fast. And this fabulous lady right here trains her corporate and private clients to simultaneously shift from right brain to left brain and from left brain to right brain. And her clients can then think of creative solutions that might not have occurred to them if they were isolating left brain logic versus right brain creativity. So let's give it up for a lady of many talents, many languages, and probably living 5 lives in one, Dr. Marina Bruni. How are you today, ma'am?
Hi, Dom. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very well, thank you. I'm very excited to be talking to you and for your audience.
Yeah, I'm excited for you too. Out of all the folks in the How Thoughts Become Things crew, you're actually the first one to respond. So congrats on the gold medal.
Thank you. So, do I win a prize?
Oh yeah, you won a prize. Lots of puns and dad jokes.
Amazing.
Ah, yes, indeed. You might even get the tree joke today. Who knows?
Ooh.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And what's amazing about you is the fact that a lot of times kids are, especially back then and like years ago, they'd be like, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor or a lawyer." And you're both.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm not a medical doctor. But yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it actually.
Ah, all them years of grinding hard and making magic happen, you just said, "You know what? I'm gonna keep going." Oh, wait, I did do this thing. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because the thing is, sometimes that really happens because when you are very focused toward a goal, toward making something happen, when that happens, you say, "Oh, okay, that's happened," but you didn't really sometimes. And I'm guilty of that in the past. I was guilty of that absolutely. I I I used not to enjoy the moment, and even when I got my achievement. Yeah, okay. That was good. I mean, I'm happy about that, but you know what? It's something that I expected. And so in a way, I used to give that for granted, which is not the right approach because the thing is that yeah, you work towards your goal, and it's right to have the expectation of having that goal realized. But at the same time, never forget to be grateful for what you've got because it's not to be taken for granted. And I've learned that along the way.
Sweet. That's right, because gratitude's a powerful thing.
Yes, very powerful. Very, very powerful. And I'd like to say, especially nowadays, the practice of gratitude is becoming very in vogue, very trendy. And this is an amazing thing. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes the risk is that it gets very much intellectualized, like an intellectual exercise of memorized formulas where you don't really attach any feeling to that. And that's a risk, because the beauty of this amazing practice, it's all about feeling the gratitude. That's the key. It's about feeling the gratitude with all your being, with all your soul. That's when it becomes really powerful.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So true, indeed. So true, indeed. Especially when you take the time to really drink it in and actually take stock of how much we all have to be grateful for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every day, every minute, every single minute. Yeah, we have something to be grateful for. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, actually, even this morning, I was talking to a friend of mine. This morning, my morning, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that she had some. There was a storm a few days ago in London, and basically, she had some leakage coming down from the roof. Fortunately, she was able to call someone to help, some builders to help them, to help her out, basically. And yeah, she was a bit upset. And I said to her, yeah, well, but you noticed that and you could fix it right on time. Think, because last year she wasn't living in London. So I said to her, well, think for a minute, what would have happened if you weren't here? If this happened, for example, last year when you were living abroad, well, think about it. And so, yeah, we always have something to be grateful for. And if we don't feel like that, just take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. And I'm sure that every one of us can always find something to be grateful for.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Especially when it's the first thing in the morning where it's like, you know what? It's another day. I'm awake. That's right. Especially if you beat the alarm clock, too.
Yes, exactly. And actually, that's one of my that's one of the steps that I teach also to my students. And actually, it's in my free guide about how you can design your energetic morning blueprint. Start by saying thank you, and that's a very powerful and important beginning, because everything starts from the beginning, and the beginning is the start of your day. So if you get the right setup, everything goes much smoother. What do you think? Do you agree?
Oh, I agree. Especially when you have the mindset of having a good morning the night before. That makes it even more powerful because I've been on both sides where I had a great morning routine and I didn't have a great morning routine, and the difference is amazing.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, what the beautiful thing is, I'm really curious because you have this life full of all of these accomplishments and trophies, and still have so much more to deliver to the world. Even got this book coming out next year, a solo project. So, how do you keep track of everything? Do you make time to celebrate in between each victory?
Thank you for the question. Yes, now I celebrate every single thing. It doesn't have to be a big fancy celebration, but it needs to be a celebration where I really feel the happiness and the gratitude. And you know what? I love chocolate. I actually am addicted to chocolate. So for me, having a cup of hot chocolate, even better if it's organic raw cacao powder with some local honey, and I'm happy with that, super happy with that. So yeah, but I always take the time, I always make a point of being grateful and giving grace. And celebration is a way of giving grace for all that I achieve, and for all the lives, all the people that I can impact. Because for me, that's the main thing. When I help, when I support even just one more person to make a progress, to make a step forward where they want to be, to improve their business, to improve their life, or anything like that, I feel so much better. I feel so much grateful. And yeah, it's amazing.
Ah, yes, indeed. Amazing indeed. All right. It feels good to be chocolate right now. Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
yes. Yes, I really cannot live without chocolate. No, no.
Oh, all righty. Cool. All right. So when I eventually meet you, I know what the dress has, a giant Hershey's bar if it's Halloween. All right.
And Halloween is coming up in October, right? So, hey.
Ah, yes, indeed. Depending on what happens with this darn COVID pandemic nonsense.
I know, I know.
Ah, yes, indeed. Well, backtracking a bit, you have this amazing career so far of like, okay, you got the doctorates and you got the JD in lawyership. And I learned that your father too was a lawyer. So is that what inspired you to become a lawyer since your father was one too?
Yes, basically, that's my background. I come from a family of lawyers, and on my father's family, everybody was a lawyer. So basically, from generations of lawyers, and for me, it was kind of a natural path. I, of course, my parents left me the free of choice. They never told me, oh, you have to be a lawyer, blah blah blah. No, it was my choice. And also the beauty of it was that the way my brothers and I were brought up was that the law, being a lawyer, has always been seen in our family, my family, as a tool to help others, like doing the right thing, looking for the truth. So it's always been seen like an instrument, a tool to help others improve their life, basically. So the concept of the lawyer who is a shark and blah blah blah, yes, I am very aware of that, but that's not at all how I was taught and how I was brought up, basically. And that actually makes a big difference, because it makes you see things in a very different way.
Ah, cool. There you go. So we don't have a shark on today's podcast. That's good. All right.
No.
We get to keep our
you're
bodies.
you're safe. You're safe.
Sweet. Well, it's good that the generational family business gets to keep going in terms of skill sets, but you actually ventured off into NLP, among other things, especially the power of the mind. So, what led to that?
Yes, well, I was very much into my corporate lawyering career. And of course, you know how it is there. It's very fast-paced environment, very demanding type of job. Basically, you live for deadlines and projects. And I was a lot into that. Basically, I was an overachiever. And but at some point, my body started sending me signals like that was too much. I needed to slow down. But somehow I didn't listen to it, because I either ignored it, or I probably sometimes I didn't even understand what that meant. And then at some point it really hit me big. And what happened is that my immune system got completely shot, and I ended up at the hospital. They put me a couple of days in intensive care. And when they discharged me, they put me 1 month of work. And that triggered a lot of introspective work and a lot of question on my side, because what do I do now, and who I am now, and what do I want? And first of all, why I'm in this situation, why this happened to me. I never get sick. And so I started asking some questions to myself, say, okay, what is that I really want? Do I want to keep having this life where I go to work and I come back home, and then I go to work and I come back home, and I go to work and I come back home, and I have very little time to do anything else, and sometimes I don't even manage to enjoy what is really important to me. And so I started all that kind of journey. And then also another thing was, okay, but who I really am then? Because up until then, I had pretty much identified myself with my role, basically my job, my title, with what I deliver, with how good I am at what I do, with the results that I bring day in and day out. And now all of a sudden I was off work for a month. So there were a few things that I needed to make sense of. And so I started basically my own discovery journey. I embarked in new learnings. I studied meditation, mindfulness, acupuncture, all these kind of things. And then I ended up interested in neuroplasticity, neurolinguistic programming, neuroscience, all that kind of thing that were very, very fascinating to me. And so I decided to deepen my knowledge in that. And along the way, I also developed my mastery in energy and that type of work. And it's been the most incredible experience. And whilst I was doing all these kind of things, of course, I was implementing everything I was learning in my own life first, and then I started sharing it with everybody. And at some point, a friend of mine said to me, well, you know what, you are super good at this and you're getting great result. You need to do this as a business. And I was like, really? Do you think so? And she goes, yeah, definitely. And then I thought a little bit about it, and then I said, okay. And now the rest is history, basically.
Sweet. That's what I'm talking about. So someone's a quick study. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Kind of not surprised. Knowing multiple languages and heck, even a butchered version of Spanish to get through Cuba. Like, was that like a life or death situation? Out of curiosity.
Well, now let me tell you about that. I have to be totally honest with you. I have I have a particular skill that whenever that let me learn, in this case let me learn foreign languages very easily for me. That's always been very easy. I don't know why. Probably because when I was a kid at school, I I learned Roman Latin and ancient Greek. So those languages basically, and doing a lot of translations, probably gave me the mindset and the method to go from one language to another. And but also because my mom used to be a professor of French, so she taught me French since I was a kid. I mean, I was 6 years old, and I was already speaking French basically. So and that's a skill that it's not only about speaking the foreign language, but it's a different kind of thought process and mindset that gives you. And so, yeah, for me, it's pretty much easy. And about Spanish, actually, back in the days when I was in private practice, actually, I negotiated big contracts in Spanish without having ever learned Spanish at all. So I can talk, I can make people understand me. I can read it, of course, but it's not, my Spanish is not perfect. I mean, grammatically, it's not the most correct language I can speak. Yeah.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So you definitely told the folks that there was no bomb anywhere. That's what I'm talking about.
You make me laugh. So funny. Fortunately, you gave me permission to laugh.
Oh, yes, indeed. Because it's just regular, ordinary conversation about you and fabulous life and everything that's to come. And definitely want it to be lighthearted because a lot of folks are serious about some things and probably too serious about other things. So, you know what? Give it folks a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you in this. And being lighthearted, it's a gift sometimes, you know. It's yeah, because the more lighthearted you are, also the more your vibration go high. And so when your vibrations is high, it's everything you can create. You're able to create much more easily. So yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of laughing.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's what I'm talking about. She's a big fan of laughing and all things creative writing. That's what I'm talking about. So, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Okay, I am working on my new workshop, which hopefully I will be able to launch in the next 3-4 weeks. And that's going to be about how you can design your own morning energetic blueprint as a good start for the day. Because you know what? It's all about energy, and it's all about how you can create more by using your energetic qualities, which are inherent to our own energetic DNA. And once we know how that works, it can be much easier for us to be the powerful creators that we truly are. How does it sound?
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because in a way, you kind of thought your way and created your way into opportunities like being in this fabulous movie, How Thoughts Become Things. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That was actually, that was incredible. The way it happened was absolutely, sometimes I'm speechless because it happened so naturally that I keep asking myself, ooh, but is that really true? That really happened or not? Then I watched the movie and I say, okay, that happened. I'm in the movie.
Ah, yeah, it's like a Marinaception. It's like Marina looking at Marina.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but no, absolutely, we are powerful creator. Everything that is in our life, we've created it, consciously or unconsciously. But we have created every single thing that is in our life right now. And so the sooner we acknowledge it, the sooner we take ownership of that, the sooner we can get back our full power. And that's the key of everything, because once you are in your full power, you can create, you can shape the outcome that you wanted in your business, in any situation that you're in, exactly as you want it. And I know that said like that, it might seem like a fairy tale, but it's not a fairy tale. I promise it's not a fairy tale. It's how things work. It's how the laws of universe work. And let me tell you, as a lawyer, I'm an expert in laws.
Yes, indeed. That's right. She's an expert in laws, y'all. That's right. That's right. And if I'm not mistaken, you have your own law called the Marina Law, right?
Yes, yes. That's another thing that I feel very strongly about that, because one of Marinas Law says that business is not productivity. And that law pops into my mind every time I see people, often my students as well, getting busy around doing things and running around here and there and blah, 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 blah. But that's not productivity, not necessarily. And the thing is, the sooner you get off the hamster wheel, the sooner you start having a different perspective of everything, of how things are, how your life is running, how your business is going, and you get more clarity of mind, and you will start having more clarity of mind and more, and you will see that things start getting into place, definitely, because you are not in that kind of running around automatic self-pilot, which is basically what takes your power away from you, but not because it takes your power away from you, but because you let it take your power away from you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I feel like folks need to realize that they do have that power that they can just tap into if they allow themselves to do that.
Yes. And when they realize that, that's a very powerful step. And we all have that power, because we all are created as powerful creators. So we all have that power. I always remember that when I was in law school, there was a friend of mine, a colleague of mine in law school, who used to say to me, "Oh, I wish I were like you. I so want to be like you. You do everything you want. You go here and there and blah, blah, blah." And I remember that she said that to me also when I managed to get an internship with the United Nations in New York City back in the days. And I was like, "What are you talking about? You can do that too." "Oh, no, I can't." "Oh, yes, you can. You make a decision, you make a choice, and then you act upon it. It's not difficult." But what I didn't realize back then is that it was not difficult for me, because I had already that level of consciousness and a level of mastery on myself that most of people didn't have. And especially, when you are in law school at university, you are still quite young. You're in your 20s. So it's it's reasonable, and thinking right now about that time, I was okay. Now probably I really do get what she really meant. But yeah, for me, it's always been like, okay, is that what I want, what I really want? What are the consequences, pros and cons? And then say, okay, do I still want this? Okay, yes, then let's go for it. So it's never been for me a matter of, well, maybe I cannot do it, but I wish I were that other person, because so that I will get there. No, it's never about comparing yourself to others. We are all powerful beings. We are all powerful creators. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we'll be able to make changes for ourselves.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because change is something we all desire at one point or another, whether it's subconscious or conscious, even.
Yes, exactly. And what happens is that most of us, they desire the change, but then they got in their own way and they start sabotaging themselves. And then they start finding excuses in order not to make that change happen. And so as a humans, we start complicated things that otherwise would be very straightforward.
Oh, yeah, it's true. It's like, okay, just go from point A to B. But what about point number M over here? Can I go to M? Like, no, just go to point B.
Yeah, exactly. Why go to point ham? Why complicating things? Just put one foot in front of the other and just go for it. And things will happen.
Ah, yes, things happen indeed. So when things start happening, how do you be able to keep up with things that are happening? Because the thing is, when folks catch steam, especially, I guess in a way, business owners, like with one company, they got this whole surge of business, but their site crashed. They had to basically pay catch up with all the orders. And it's like, okay, crap, how the heck do I actually pivot and get myself back into where I need to be? Any thoughts on that of how to keep up with all the stuff that comes to you?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, I've got an agreement with God. He helps me a lot. And second, yeah, surround yourself of capable, competent people that can help you. They can be your team, or they can be, of course, mentors. We all need mentors and collaborators. Make sure, of course, that they are good and competent. But yeah, we all need to delegate and to leverage our relationships and how the strength of the people who surround us in order to make our business scalable, in order to make our business bigger, so that we can be able to help even more people. So yeah, definitely, I'm a big fan of collaboration, of delegation, and leveraging relationships in order to grow. Absolutely, of course, you have to be sure that those are the right people, that they're competent, that they will do a good job, and that you can trust them. Absolutely. But yeah, that's very important.
Oh yeah, it definitely is important. Never got to be around those that are competent, because I mean, yeah, because if you don't have that, then say goodbye to your concrete foundation. You're probably on sand now.
Absolutely.
Ah, yes, indeed. Sand belongs in an hourglass, not your foundation.
Hey, but that's true. Well, it belongs also to the seaside.
Oh yeah, yes, indeed. Of course, definitely seaside and maybe get some tan action. Well, maybe I
Yes.
don't need it, but I enjoy my chocolate tan. I don't need to have burnt chocolate tan. I'm good. Ah, but yes, indeed. So, since this is far from your first rodeo, metaphorically speaking, of being on these interviews to promote the magical move and everything else you're doing, is there a question you wish you'd be asked more often when having chats like these?
Well, to be honest, I like going with the flow. Because I like authenticity and spontaneity. So when there is a true connection with the person who interviews me, like in this case, Dom, I'm really, it's really a big blessing. So yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for being that person.
Woohoo! Alrighty. EXP gained for me. All right. Can check that one off the box. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because authentic conversations what the world needs, indeed. Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. Heck, even funny enough, chatting with Bob Doyle the other night, and he was actually mentioning how he'll prefer to be talk less about stuff from The Secret, since that's like the main question he gets asked about a lot, and talk more about technology and how each generation of children is going to be smarter than the next because of all the technology out there. So definitely right.
Yeah, well, that's true, but that's also, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am a fan of technology and progress, but that can be a double sword, especially for the youngest generation, because what I've noticed is that sometimes they are so much into technology and social media and smartphone and blah 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 that they have unlearned how to have a real conversation in real life with the real people, a real interaction in real life with real people, and so on. And that can become a problem.
Oh yeah, it's definitely true. It's definitely true because it's like, all right, yay, emoji. It's a whole new language, yay. And then you talk with someone, it's like, nope, you can't use an emoji to say yes or no in this case. You have to say yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I'm seeing is that I mean, technology is a tool, but we are, and is a powerful and amazing tool. But we are losing this concept that technology is a tool, and I'm seeing that most of the people see technology as a substitute of real life, and that's where the risk is, because it cannot be a substitute of real life. It's a tool to assist us, to make us better, but it's not a replacement for us and human relationships.
Oh yes, indeed, yes, indeed. It's so darn true because even though the mind may not tell the difference if you play a certain like beach sound music in the background to help you go to sleep, it's like still it doesn't beat the real thing. You still have to feel the real thing, have the actual experience.
Absolutely.
Ah, yes, indeed. And then speaking of tools to help you become better in life and that can even help you to go to sleep. So, how is Dr. Marina's night routine? Because I feel like that's something that people don't think about a lot. It's like, yeah, have this super special, awesome morning routine, do all these wonderful things. But it's like, you know what? The day starts the night before. So, anything in particular that helps you to have that super awesome morning routine?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, switch off all technology at least 1 or 2 hours before going to bed. And that's absolutely fundamental, because otherwise we keep being connected with technology all the time, and that's not good for us. So switch off your technology, including your phone, at least 1 or 2 hours before going to bed. um, and then be grateful. Also, I know that in my guide for your energetic morning blueprint, I put gratitude as one of the main things to do in the morning, but also in the evening. Just go very quickly throughout your day. That's what I do. I go very quickly throughout my day and say, okay, what are the things? At least 3 things that I'm grateful for that happened today. And so I give grace for that. I'm feel gratitude for that, and I have a big smile on my face. And that's how you go to sleep with a foot in this great gratitude feeling that stays with you all night and helps you wake up in the same in the same atmosphere, in the same mood, in the same feeling. Yeah. And then, of course, a short meditation. Yeah, that sometimes it's longer, but I mean, even a few minutes are enough. I usually do around half an hour, something like that. But yeah, those are my main 3 points before going to bed.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's right. So gratitude and keeping the technology off at least 1 to 2 hours before you go to sleep. That's right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because it's so true. You don't want to be, especially if it's one of those scary movies where you're going to be up all night imagining a giant cactus is going to come for you with a gun or something while wearing a
No,
cowboy hat.
exactly. Running after you. No, no, no. You don't want that.
Yep, especially if you're that little deputy with a cucumber called Cucumber Jim.
Yep.
Yep. You know what? I might turn that into something. The cactus and the cucumber. That's right. Sheriff Sheriff Cactus and Cucumber Jim. Yeah, man. Yep. I have no idea where that one came from.
See, that's why we are going with the flow, and that's amazing. I love it.
Ah, yes, indeed. Oh, the flow. That's right. Oh, the flow like some water. That's right. Some fabulous water. That's,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. Some crystal sea good water. Oh, yeah. That's right. So you can see it with all 5 eyes. Well, 3 eyes if you don't wear glasses.
Yeah.
But yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So coming down to the question that every guest gets to receive, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you are 25 again, but this time in 2020 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Ooh, that's like the $1 million question. Okay, what advice would I give to myself when I was 25? Mm, I will tell her probably to slow down a little bit, to speak up more. Yes, to speak up more, and to remember that I am a powerful creator.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. A powerful creator. And definitely speak up more. Heck, this wasn't even planned, but since you said that, since we have a lot of ladies out there kicking butt, there may be still some ladies who are growing in their careers and they haven't gained that self confidence yet to speak up more in meetings or just in life. What advice would you give to those ladies too? Because I'm sure someone needs it.
Yeah, definitely. Speak up more, always follow your heart, but also be mindful that words have a meaning. I mean, I often observe, especially recently, conversations where literally almost everyone involved have their good reasons, but from one way or another, one reason or another, they end up hurting each other every time. And that's because sometimes we don't listen thoroughly and we don't give real meaning to the words. Words are very powerful, very, very powerful. So, yes, speak up. It's always pick up, absolutely. And I'm telling this from a background of years and years, especially when I was younger, of silencing myself when I couldn't have, when I could have speak out more or more powerfully. Absolutely. And so certainly I'm not saying don't speak up, but what I'm saying is speak up with in coherence with your heart and with your mind, and also be mindful of what you say can be perceived to the other side, to the people you're talking to, because the thing is that if the message doesn't reach the target, most of the time is because the person who was speaking was not clear enough. It's not because the person who was receiving it. Yeah, of course, sometimes the person, I mean, on the other side also, we listen what we want. We listen what we want to listen to. Okay, but there are always two sides, and so be clear in the communication and be absolutely sure that we say exactly what we want to say. It's key, definitely. And yeah, and of course I help all my students with that too. And yeah, being but based on my background, I mean, I've got loads of experience in the wrong and right communication kind of style and side effects and so on. I mean, you can imagine that. But no, it's actually very important. It's actually very important. And one of the things is also, I know you are American, so you know how you really have a special sensitivity around the importance of being able to freely express what you think and what you feel and so on, right? And so it's also important that my free of expression doesn't end up hurting somebody else. Because if you put yourself in the other person's shoes, you will never want to be hurt by somebody else when they express themselves, right? So why would we want to do that to another person? So it's all these kind of bits and pieces, little piece of the puzzle that need to be kept together in your mind and in your heart every time that you go out there and speak up and speak out your own truth.
Alrighty. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. Speak up from the mind and the heart when they're coherent together. Yes, indeed. Speak your
Yeah.
truth.
What's your view on that, Dom?
Hey, I agree with it because it's so darn true, and especially with the many part of silence, because that's kind of one of the things that I tell some folks when they ask, like, hey, you're this motivational speaker, why don't you say something? It's like, you know what? I've also learned the power of pausing and getting a good feel of the environment, especially if I want to make a more powerful point. It's like, hey, you don't have to run your mouth all the time. It's better just to be still and be quiet for just a bit before making a point. Because sometimes it's better not to say anything at all.
Yes, the power of silence.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Won't have to burn as many bridges either.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yep. Even got you saying yes, indeed now. This is great.
I know. Hey, doesn't mean I can see your show.
Yes. The mind control is working. I love it. Wait, stop. Oh, man. Woohoo. I'll definitely enjoyed this time with you, indeed. Definitely to have you Back on when book launch for 2021 appears, the year when the century gets to finally drink. Yes, indeed.
Likewise, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Absolutely. Really, it's a real delight speaking with you.
Ah, yes, that's right. That's what the D in Dominic stands for, delight. Yes, indeed. Almost like a sunny delight.
Yes.
Woohoo! Well, for the folks who want to keep in magical contact with the good doctor herself who does need a lab coat, Dr. Marina, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely. They can all reach out to me via email me via my email, which is marina@marinabruni.com. And I would encourage everybody to go and download my free guide about how you can design your morning energetic blueprint, because it will really make a difference in how you set yourself up for the day ahead, basically. So yeah, and you can get that from my website, www.marinabruni.com, MarinaBruni.com.
Ah, yes, indeed. Well, there you have it, folks. Check out our wonderful site. When you download the ebook, it'll make you say meow, and you'll find out why, indeed. I plan on saying meow in the morning when I wake up tomorrow. Yes, indeed, meow. So, any parting words to the folks still listening?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you for listening to us today. And please remember that you are the powerful creator of your own reality. Absolutely. Take your power, don't give it away.
Hey there, buddy. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Since you made it to the end of this episode, do both of us a favor and stop being greedy. Stop it right now and share this episode with your friends and your fellow podcast lovers.